Now, I noticed some problems, and we've already talked, I know probably all of us have gone over these. In solving equations with piecewise domain like this, that are in pieces like this. This is one to graph, and we haven't talked about that, so we're going to go over this, how to do this graph. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start at the top with the first piece and figure out how to graph that piece, and then we'll go to the next part. Okay? So the first piece, just going down, is f of x equals 5, or in other words, y equals 5, right? And x has to be greater than 8. Now, I want to use the boundary, what I'm calling the boundary of the domain, to begin my graph. We'll catch on to this pretty quickly. In other words, I can't start at x equals 9 because I'll leave out everything between 8 and 9, right? And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to start where x would equal 8, but I'm going to make it an open circle, because it's not really there. That's just the beginning of it. So if x is 8, y would be 5. And then I'm going to get maybe a couple of other points. Say x is 9, because it says x has to be greater than 8, so I'll go up. X is 9, y would be 5. If x is 10, y would be 5, right? What does that look like, y equals 5? What does that look like?
A line.
What kind of line?
Horizontal.
Horizontal at y, where everywhere y is 5, in other words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, we're going to kind of start, oops. I know my markings are terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is 8, 9, 10.
Bless you.
Okay, and let's see, we'll just start here. It'll be a little bit disproportional because I didn't mark my things very evenly. Okay, so let's see. 8, 5, I'm going to put an open circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that look about right there?
Yeah.
And I'm going to put an open circle so I have a place to begin. And then it's 9, 5, 10, 5. So it's going to go this way. And it'll have an arrow on the end because it goes infinitely in that direction. The next piece is where y is going to equal 6. And the domain is just 8. So what the heck is that?
Points.
It's 1 point. And the point is?
8, 6.
8, 6. Okay, this was 5, so this would be 6. And I just put a dot for the point. And then we get to the next one. Now for the next one, I've got y equals x squared minus 8x plus 15 over x minus 5. First thing you want to do is try to reduce that. Can you factor the numerator?
Yes.
What is it?
X minus 3. X negative 5x. X negative 5. 3.
Okay. And so this is going to factor out, but wait a minute. What can I not forget? In the domain, can x be 5?
No.
So even though my domain says from 0 to 8, not including 0 and 8, I'm still going to have to leave out the 5 because it would make the denominator 0, even factoring it out. I can't forget that, right? So that's going to be something I want to put an open circle at, right? You with me on that? So this thing simplified down really nice to be, I should put it next, but I didn't, y equals x minus 3. That's a nice little simple little line that I can put some points on. so I'm gonna look at my domain, and it goes from 0 to 8. So if x is 0, that's my beginning. What is y? -3, except, can x be 0? No. You see how there's no equal? So I'm gonna put an open circle there. Okay, so I'm just kind of marking it so I won't forget. And then I can keep going up. So if I want to go through that stuff, I know somewhere in the middle I'm going to come up with x equals 5, and y would be, what would y be?
2.
5 minus
2.
2. But I'm going to put a circle there, okay, because x cannot equal 5. And then I'm going to, let's go to the end, which is 8.
5.
And if x is 8, 8 minus 3 is 5, so I've got 8, 5 is another point, except that there's no equal mark, so I'm going to have to put an open circle. Now, in between these points, in between these actual circles, I'm going to have points. You can find some of them if you want to. Like, what if x is, say, 3 or 4? We can do that. What if x is 3? Y would be 0. And if x is, I don't know, let's go between 5 and 8, say 6. Then y would be 3. Okay, so these are real points. But all of these here are circles, and they're really enough of guidelines to show me where to go. So I'm going to put 0, -3. And I better put some more marks in there. Okay, so 0, -3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have a circle right there. Okay. And then at 5, 2, I'm going to have a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, about right here. If I had graph paper, it would be a lot easier. And then at 8, 5, there's a circle. Here's 8. And this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's that same circle.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, now technically this should be a nice straight line that I would have a ruler and be drawing it beautifully, and I don't, so you're going to have to bear with me. But it is a straight line, and it looks like that. But it's got, that's an open circle, which looks like I colored in too much. So these 3 circles are open. And then in between, remember I had 3, 0? Well, I almost hit it. If I hadn't had such a rough graph, I would have gone right through it. 3, 0, that's 1 point. And I had 6, 3, 6, 3, and that'd be about right there. So that's looking pretty good. Is everybody okay with that? Then I move down to the next one, which says y equals x plus 2 in parentheses, squared. And it says x cannot be less than or, it can't, well, it is less than or equal to 0. It is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so what is that, what shape does that make? You should know that by now.
Parabola.
It's a parabola. So we have a parabola, and we can tell where the vertex is, right? Where's the vertex?
2.
-2 what? -2, 0. Okay, well that'll be a good start. So let me put, I can put a chart, but I might as well kind of start my chart. Okay, so the vertex is at -2, 0, which is here. Everybody can tell that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I know it's going to go up, and it's going to go that way, but it cannot be, it can't cross the y-axis. It could touch the y-axis, but x is always going to be negative or 0, so it's only going to be on this side of the y-axis. Are you with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to look for a few more points. Let's see, what, I forgot to put that. -2, 0. Okay. Does anybody have any idea about where it's going to hit the y-axis? Not yet? Okay, well, let's try to get a point in here at least. What if x is 1? Because that would be in between here, because I have to get a point in here to find the shape of it. So if x is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 squared is 9, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's gonna be about right here. I got this thing really squished. Did I mess up?
Wait.
It's
Positive one.
It's positive
and
one.
9.
It has to be less than 0.
So that would be over here, so I can't have that.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, what if we have -1? That's what I really should have had anyway. This -1, I'm trying to get 1 over here. So what if it's -1? What would that be?
1.
1.
And what would, and y would be 1? Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, it caught me, I'm so glad. -1, 1, so that's gonna be here. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep going until I wanna find if y is, I'd like to know how if x is 0.
-2.
Then y would be, if x is 0,
Minus
0 plus 2 is 2, what's y? 4. So I'm just looking for points where I know they would exist. 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be here. So the part of the parabola is going to be, I kind of squished up my graph a lot, but it's going to look like that. And then the other side of the graph is going to come up here and go infinitely. Now, at this point, I can, you know, if I had my graph where I could see how far it is, I could do it on the other side. But maybe that's a little tricky. Let's try, this is -1. How about -1, 2, 3? How about -3?
1.
Y would be 1.
Yes.
And then let's get something else. How about if,